if they keep winning?
Yeah, no, I think they deserve a lot more respect than they've been given, and you're right. They perform the best out of any team at Worlds. It's actually really fun to see them, beat down G2. So I don't know. I'm hoping for a bloodbath.
All right, so let's see where we're kind of at here. We're halfway through the draft. It's Azir, first pick for C9. Jojo will be piloting that. They've got the Varus Nautilus bot lane in response to Lucian and Milio that's been locked in for NRG.
I feel like Lucian Milio has been doing terrible in competitive. I feel like there's a couple of reasons. Like, first off, you get that high dopamine of playing ADC and punishing your opponent in lane, but the fall off is so massive. Also, if Lucian gets ahead, he's also one of the hardest ADCs not to throw on. Actually, I'm famous for a massive throw. but like just in general, right? Like, but it's really hard. It's dawning on me. Like,
that's why he's the GOAT.
Yeah.
No one else could do that.
Yeah, exactly. No one would ever throw the game hard. But like every Lucian, when they get ahead in lane, you get 30, 40 CS, a lot of plates, maybe 2v2 kill. You feel so good. But in mid game, if you need to carry the game because you're playing Lucian Milio, like high pro bot lane, but if you mess up, like this game, if he gets hit by an Nautilus hook and just dies once, then complete game over situation.
Could be tough. We'll have to see how well that can be piloted by FBI, who's been reunited with Huhi. That is the only change to NRG's roster in the offseason. The other 4 guys staying together, and now these 2 reunited after playing together so many times before in the past.
Yeah, we've apparently got a lot of fans asking what NRG did at Worlds, what actually happened there. Do we have any reminders, any confirmation of what they were able to accomplish?
Yeah, just to catch everybody up on the international status of everything. Oh, yeah!
Oh!
That's right!
Oh, yeah!
Yeah.
It was 2-0. That's pretty free.
My hand is almost fully healed from the desk after that. that was a good memory.
We also, speaking of DoubleLift stories, we have a story about you from Contractz.
Oh, yeah.
No, what's this?
We have a fun fact.
Oh, was it that I gave him his first, my keyboard and stuff? When
you remember it differently than Contractz, I think.
Okay, what was the story? Tell me the story.
I think they're going to bring it up. I think they're going to bring it up for us. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see if it comes up, because I saw this earlier, and it was interesting. It was very interesting.
Started getting to Challenger, and I used to do it with Bjergsen a lot, and I think I reached out to DoubleLift through DMs asking if he had any gear recommendations, because my gear at home was really bad, and he recommended me something. He's like, yeah, I'll mail you a keyboard, and that keyboard never came. So I think we've actually talked about it a bit, but it's just really funny to look back on.
What was I doing?
Something happened to that keyboard.
I don't know.
Man.
What were you doing?
I think it was intercepted. I was sabotaged. I feel bad now. I'm sorry.
You can send him a keyboard.
I still owe him one. Yeah, I think at this point, with interest and inflation, I owe him 5 keyboards.
That's a lot of keyboards.
Maybe it's just the next level. You were getting in his head before he got in the league,
No, he was such a nice kid. He was he was the solo queue grind
assert
lord.
dominance.
Oh, of course. I had to show him his place.
Teaching him the underdog mentality from day 0. Just
Expect
getting him ready to go in there. You got to earn it all.
Nothing is given, kid.
Oh, man. All right. Let's catch up with where we are here in the second half of the draft as the Rel, Vi, Rumble, Ashe all band away. I've got Jarvan locked in for NRG. Contractz going to pilot that one. Anybody who remembers watching NRG at Worlds, anybody who watched the NRG versus G2 game number 2 where he's playing the Jarvan in the top lane, engaging and disengaging and re-engaging over again, just showed some real mastery on that champion. Very excited to see him pilot it again, while the UDyr and Viego will be locked in as the last 2 picks for C9.
So which team, if you could just sit down and play right now, which comp would you rather play?
Ooh, that's actually really hard to say. It depends on how NRG rounds out, but honestly, NRG's comp looking better. I'm not the greatest. Okay, actually, sorry, they switched. C9 switched their last pick to Viego. I thought they were gonna run double tank jungle top, which I really wouldn't have liked. I'm switching my answer now. I think C9's comp is a little bit just easier to execute, right? Nautilus ulti into Varus ulti into Viego getting 1 single reset, and the fight will be very easy for them to win.
So if you're playing the bot lane, obviously, you're Berserker, you're playing a Varus, Nautilus here into Lucian, Milio. What are you thinking about in lane, and what are kind of some of your win conditions and maybe things you have to worry about that could go wrong?
This is a horrible matchup. You're gonna lose 2v2 level. I sometimes say level 1 to 18, which means at no points starting from the very beginning of the game should you ever win a 2v2. The only thing that could happen to you that would be your saving graces is if FBI eats a hook. One of the worst things that could ever happen is if FBI tries to react to Nautilus hook and it catches him. Then if your hook gets canceled, you will die 100% of the time. But other than a freak accident like that, I think NRG's bot lane should be very ahead after the first 10 minutes. And I think from C9's perspective, they should be crying for ganks. That's pretty much it. Like, yeah, just tell Blaber, like, we're gonna need some cover. We're gonna need some help at some point.
Do you think they can win 3v3 then? Because obviously there's Jarvan, there's Taliyah on the other side that potentially, could be moving down to that bot side. So is it just you have to take the L, or do you think you can actually make something happen if your jungler comes?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. If Vulcan hooks in and it's 3v3, it could actually be horrible. Milio has an amazing tool to kind of like soak the Nautilus hook, but not let him get the auto.
Towards Jojo. Like the top laner's coming down and flashing on him. The enemy jungler's flashing on him. The support's flashing on him. It felt like so many of the games were like that. So one of the things that was most impressive about his performance was that he had these crazy lane stats while having the least jungle help and the most enemy jungle attention.
Yeah.
Which, like, to me, that was what it made his split mind-blowing, right? If you have your jungler 24/7 camping for you and you're able to get that done, that's one thing. But when the enemy jungle is camping and you're still getting it done, that's really impressive.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how Jojo and Palafox both play this, since Jojo is known for this style that you were talking about, DoubleLift, where you don't have to just kill your opponent over and over, you rotate it around to other lanes. And Palafox is on one of the best champions in the game to also be doing that in Taliyah. With the state of bot lane being in a place where you're talking about Berserker and Vulcan losing at every level, I'm expecting both teams to be looking around it.
One of the things that's kind of interesting about NRG is, the only swap they made was Huhi coming in, Ignore left. And having talked to them, having talked to the players, the coaches, one of the things that they really talked about is that Huhi is the more flexible support player compared to Ignore. That if it is going to be range supports, they felt that was going to be an advantage for them compared to playing with Ignore. So Huhi bringing out the Milio, it'll be interesting to see how they perform.
Huhi is so criminally underrated, man. I feel like when he was on 100 Thieves, one of the things that he was criticized for is he didn't play range supports that well. And then when he switched teams afterwards, I think he joined Golden Guardians, he became, like, him and Stixxay were really good at the range support meta. So I think he's just, like, always very adaptable guy. And he's been a top tier support ever since he started.
And they were one of the best Lucian Namis, I feel like, for a while.
They were. Him and Stixxay were like a bot lane to be feared, actually.
I mean, I feel like that kind of just speaks to the origin of him being a support player to begin with. Like, transferring away from mid, you have to be willing to learn the different skill set and the different champ pool, and he just seems like somebody who's always down to be malleable for what the team and the game needs.
One of the things that's really interesting coming into this split, I don't know if you knew this, DoubleLift, is that only one team, TL, kept their exact same bot lane. Every single other team in the league either changed 1 or 2 members of the bot lane. So, like, how difficult is it? You obviously play with a lot of different supports over your career, to come in and play with a fully different support. Is that something that is kind of over-exaggerated, or is it actually, really to be expected you're gonna perform a lot worse?
I actually think, like, the whole, like, idea of, like, AD carry and support synergy might be a little bit overrated by the community. Like, I think, like, every bot lane is playing for the same objective and playing for the same sort of, let's just say, like, you're playing bot lane in a little mini game. Like, mini games being like pushing the wave and resetting at the right time, getting your wave in a good position for a gank, getting a good trade-off. Every bot lane is like playing for this thing, right? And so, like, really what matters is like player skill a little bit more, honestly, than the synergy between your support, because like the execution is so important, just like the little advantages that you get if your support does something differently. So, I mean, when me and Buzio started playing, our synergy wasn't that good, but also we just weren't that good. And then we got to a point. Yeah, exactly. and then we got to the point where we were pretty good in lane, and our synergy was really good. And I think you can work that up, honestly, pretty quickly.
Okay. Just got to put the reps in, get used to how the other guy's going to do it, as long as the skill level's there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Well, right now, Dhokla's on the receiving end of the beatdown here in the top side. Fudge controlling the lane nice and early here. Once again, going to get to just see this big brick wall like you were talking about in the previous game, Isaac, with UDyr being so difficult to deal with up there. FBI going after Berserker, buffed up by the Cozy Campfire. We have the 3v3 stare down over this Scuttle Crab. Vulcan and Berserker wanted to help Blaber with it, as NRG seems to be backing away for now. Blaber, yeah, he'll be able to control that. As top side, it's just Fudge again, keeping Dhokla forced back underneath the turret, maintaining control over the wave in the lane.
I mean, the biggest problem for me is not even that he's losing the trades, is that he's missing so much CS, right? Dhokla's actually being pushed off the farm. Every time he's trying to come forward and actually get that CS, Fudge is trading into him, he's harassing him, he's pushing him back. Obviously, there's a lot of minions here that he will be able to catch, but Fudge is going to be able to crash the wave base, and even if he wants, he can hold his TP and just walk back. Dhokla's been in a pretty tough spot, and his first buy is not very impressive.
Yeah, no magic mantle, not exactly what we're hoping for, but yeah, nice job on that one. Hopefully, at least, that might be able to force him to make Fudge use the TP.
For sure. I mean, he pulled the wave, so now the wave's frozen, so he 100% has to TP back and unfreeze that. And then there is that potential of, if you don't have your jungler on the top side, you're a little bit nervous. Obviously, we know that Viego is basing, down on that bottom side, can come up top to cover him if he needs it, but Fudge likely is going to feel comfortable, I think, just push this out, especially now that they just saw Contractz.
Yeah, but one thing I've been thinking about with UDyr top is like how useful is this guy outside of lane? I know that like, you know, Zeus played it in the opening match against T1 versus Genji and LCK, and you know, it's the same thing I keep seeing over and over again. Like UDyr is very strong in laning phase, and just the last game we saw Impact got, you know, pretty decently ahead of Riven.
Yeah.
Seemed like he had pressure, but in 5v5s, very, very hard to be useful on UDyr. Like he basically is just like the run at you and stat check type of champ. Yeah.
How do you feel about the different styles of UDyr builds? Because in Pro, basically all we're seeing is just full tank. And one of the arguments that I've heard from a lot of people is that the reason he looks so useless outside of lane is because he's building no more damage. Whereas in solo queue, I've been seeing all kinds of things from Titanic Triforce to, you know, Leandries to, you know, all these different styles. So like, what's your take on some of the different UDyr builds?
I think right now you should get as much damage as humanly possible because doing damage is how you're useful. Like being tanky in this game now, the way that the changed the game so much, there is no such thing as tanky. You saw the full tank UDyr last game. It's not like Impact was farming terribly or anything. He's made out of paper. So if everyone is made out of paper, what matters is who has like the most powerful gun, in my opinion. And so, you know, you want to just maximize your damage output as opposed to trying to be like, survive a team fight 2 more seconds.
How do you feel? We saw while we were talking about the previous point, Blaber immediately taking all 3 Void Grubs on spawn. How do you feel about the new Grubs as an objective, and how important do you think they are?
Oh, they're so important. I would rather have Grubs than early Drake now for sure. I don't know what it is about Grubs, but they just feel so impactful every game that I'm playing. I think like you should play for them kind of like over Drake, and I think the idea of it that, you know, Riot maybe thought about is like, well, top laners are on this island for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel that great that like there's no real point to ganking top. Every time you gank top, you enemy jungler ganks bot and gets Drake. So now there is a point. Oh, hold on. Blaber's gonna engage on.
Going in after Blaber. He might be level 6, but he doesn't have his team nearby. He's got to try to get away from this one. Uses the Heartbreaker to get on out of it. Nice job by Jojo there, using the Emperor's Divide to knock Palafox off of the Weaver's Wall. But with Energy having shoved back the enemy jungler, made him use ult, made him use flash, got him to 1/3 HP. It's a free first Drake for them.
Exactly. Blaber gets out, but no flash, no ult. You have to use the ult from Jojo as well. We can see Fudge up on the top side. He's just proxy farming, but it is going to be a free dragon there, you know, for Energy. So talk to me now about, you know, knowing that C9 got those first grubs. How are you actually going to prep for this, you know, Energy's bot lane? Because generally speaking, you know, I see if the enemy team gets first grubs, bot lane will move and try to contest that because you really don't want to give up 5 or 6 where the Void Mites are going to spawn. So what kind of reset timings here are you looking for?
I mean, AD carries don't normally sack waves and plates to do this. I say this as a greedy AD carry player, but it's not a normal thing for the AD carry to like do that and just like leave bots. But what is normal is for you to try to get a timing where you're pushing and you're kind of like half moved. So you're halfway up the river when the grubs spawn. Also, I think Nautilus doesn't want laning phase. Like I said, this matchup is losing 2v2. So you definitely want a situation where like Nautilus gets to just like open the game up by going to the grubs, going to topside, getting an ult off. Like that's what he wants. He doesn't want to just sit in lane and watch his AD carry get pushed in 2v2.
How are you feeling about how the bot lane has gone then, right? Because you talked about how this is kind of like the losing lane, you know, 0 to 18, but they are up a little bit in the farm. You know, it's 9 CS advantage here for Berserker. He's actually pushing it. He's going to get a plate. So he's going to get a plate. They deny the wave, so it's not even like there's farm to catch here for FBI. So what do you think went wrong for NRG, or what went right for C9?
Well, Berserker was born in Korea, so that is
that was a very important first step, huh?
FBI can't really change that, unfortunately. But yeah, I would just review the laning phase. Like, it makes no sense. Also, way before on the first Crab, bot lane was somehow like C9's bot lane got pushed for Crab at 3 minutes. How's that possible? If I was FBI and Huhi, I would definitely review this laning phase. It makes no sense how this has gone, but like, congrats to Contractz for getting that pick on Blaber, getting the flash ulti out and getting Drake. Like, I think Contractz has done so much for the game to progress the way it has, because otherwise Energy's bot lane would look in an even worse position.
And over the course of last year and now heading into this year, I think Contractz' growth as a player has been one of the most incredible instances of that I have seen, because a few years ago in the LCS, he was around the bottom of most people's tier lists for jungling, and now he's been one of the main catalysts for Energy becoming this meteoric rise that was able to beat Cloud9 last summer, where they were also heavy favorites.
And even Canyon, actually, there was a quote from Canyon about him, you know, talking about him at Worlds, you know, that he was kind of really, you know, impressed with his play, that he thought he was good. A couple of the guys from NRG got to mention the Xiaohu one. A little bit more of a meme with Palafox. Incredible midfielder. Palafox seems like a genius, but it is cool to obviously, you know, go international and get that recognition from some of these people that you really respect. Because I know for Contractz, he's talked about the fact that Canyon like is his jungle go, right? You know, it's like this is his idol. So to hear some words of praise from that, I think it's really cool.
It is.
I have met him in a scrimmage, and my opponent, midfielder Palafox, is powerful and seems like a genius.
Okay, mid lane. Speaking about Palafox, I think might have just caster cursed him. The soldiers mow him down. It's first blood over to C9, and at the same time, they got all six Void Grubs.
Uh-oh. I think Google Translate might have been paid off by Palafox there. It's done crazy things for his brand.
Wowie, man. Contractz going in over the wall now. NRG's going to look for Vulcan here. He's already used the flash, but a nice job interrupting the dredge line. Contractz takes the kill, but now he needs to be careful. Blaber's coming in, wanting to clean something up, but NRG's still ready to keep the fight going. Jojo's got no ulti. Blaber's got no chance. FBI getting himself away,
TP got
but
canceled.
Jojo takes him out before he can do it. Contractz now running backwards into the enemy base while topside. Fudge and Dhokla are going all in. Dhokla retreats back underneath the turret as the fight in the bot side blue jungle fizzles out. The kills rest at 2-2.
Yeah, it is a cancel TP there. Dhokla able to use this R, I assume, to actually cancel Fudge's TP, and was looking for the all-in after, couldn't quite get it. Pretty even trade down on that bot side overall. It is the FBI. Well, actually, most of them using all their summoners, really. Berserker keeps his flash, though, so that's pretty critical.
Isn't it crazy that Contractz was able to find a good play with his mid laner dead there? Like, mostly people would just back out of that situation. It's just, it is wild to me. Like, he goes in here, and look, his mid laner is still respawning, and they get this pick.
And that ulti was so nicely timed, interrupts the hook on the way out there. And then this Varus ult whiffing onto FBI as he turned back. I don't think he actually had vision in that rush. It looks like there was no ward in there. They may have known he was moving up, but FBI fighting away from the Varus. I think this was intelligent from NRG, fighting up away from Berserker, getting the kill and getting out means they end up only really losing that one at the end of the day.
Yeah, NRG gets two. They lose their AD carry, but that was in a 3v4 situation, so I don't think you could have asked for a better one.
We can also see that the Lucian did pick up support items, so it's likely going to be Bloodsong Lucian. Have you been playing, much of the double support style AD stuff?
No, I haven't even tried it. It's such an abomination. It's just crazy
I respect that answer.
I think it's getting nerfed next patch, but obviously for LCS, win at all costs. If it's in the game, you gotta abuse.
I don't blame them one bit, but it just feels dirty.
As an honorable streamer such as yourself, you're beyond such things.
I mean, if it's getting nerfed soon, I feel like it's kind of a shame to be putting time into it, but it's crazy strong. Anytime bot lane can go double support items and you're useful, it's like, okay, like I'm all in, like play passively and win the game that way.
And I mean, the other thing to remember is that we're going to be on live patch all split long now, right? So that is a change. So in the past, people always thought about, oh, well, if it's going to be nerfed, why bother putting in the time? If a patch comes out on Wednesday, LCS is going to be playing it on Saturday, right? So you have to, in this split, be willing to jump on those things. You have to be able to take advantage of them. There's only 6 weeks of regular season. If you sack one weekend, especially one of the 3-game weekends, that could be your whole split getting screwed.
Yep. It's tough.
And as you say that, I now think about how a secondary effect of all of this is that the LCS players are going to be way more incentivized to play solo queue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like they have to, right? Because like you said,
better know
4-day
what's good.
turnaround. Yeah, you need to keep current with the current patch. So if a new patch comes out on Tuesday or Wednesday, you need to be spamming the game. And oh, that's going to be great for my stream.
There you go. You're
Yeah,
playing,
dude, there
playing
you go.
against pros. You're like,
set.
ooh.
You're ready to go.
Peter's over here counting the dollars.
You can be the trendsetter, man. Just show them what to build and have the DoubleLift meta take over. Because it's not just first in LCS. Like LCS is the league that's going to be doing this throughout the whole regular split. So you could set like the Korean meta if you find the thing nice and early.
There you go.
I'm still friends with Core, and he asked me about Jhin a couple days ago, and then I watched him lose on it the way I do in my games too. So it's just great. Like I get to talk to the pros about what's good, get their info, and then give my opinion.
You could have Ruler talking about the powerful bot fielder genius DoubleLift.
Yeah. I love that. That's the kind of recognition you want right there. We've got another Hex Rift here in the second game of the day. Back-to-back on those. With the Drakes still at 1-1, I'm not going to think there's a whole ton of immediate pressure on them, but it does mean that if this game goes long like the last one, that could play a huge factor. The Rift Herald has spawned. How do you feel about being able to drive the Herald? Is that good or is that bait?
I'm a horrendous driver in real
You have your
life.
driver's license?
That has also carried over to the Herald. I usually drive it in the wrong direction, so I'm just like into my own turrets on accident. I'm like, I need more practice. Like, if you guys have must grief. Everyone must grief with the Herald at least once in their life because it's like so hard to figure it out. Or maybe it's just me. It's 80.
Clearly has never played Scion.
Yeah.
You've revealed
Scion
yourself as a Scion hater.
No, it's so easy to accidentally jump into it. You jump into the Ferrari and it's just like zooming in the wrong direction. It's crazy.
I don't know, man. I just jumped into the car and my foot was on the pedal.
It's the ADC brain. You just have to click on things.
Oh my god, that was a blind
really close.
reaction by Berserker. He's so good.
Berserker's so good, man. This guy is just constantly setting the bar for the other AD carries in the league. Cloud9 as a team, up about 1,500 gold. Again, they have controlled every neutral objective this game except for the one Infernal Drake that NRG was able to take earlier. So lots of potential power here for wherever Blaber decides to drop that.
So talk to us about the ADC builds. Where do you kind of expect them to go from here? Obviously, we have Stormrazor first item. On the other side, we have the Ghostblade, and it is obviously FBI, we're assuming, going towards Bloodsong.
Yeah, FBI is going Stormrazor into Rapid Fire. I've seen a lot of people do like full-on Energizer, like they're going like Voltaic Cyclosword and just stacking those Energized procs. I'm not the hugest fan of that. I think it scales kind of poorly. You definitely at some point on these types of AD carries like Lucian, you want to get enough crit so that you're still hitting hard. And as for Berserker, he's just doing the standard lethality stacking. Like he probably goes into Muramana here, into like Cyrildas, into more lethality items. In my opinion, people have this conception about Varus specifically, like, oh, he falls off so hard late game. It's weird because depending on how strong lethality items, he actually doesn't. Like there will come a point where like he probably does a little bit less damage than Lucian, but that point in the game is so late that it doesn't really even matter. So I think Berserker feels really happy right now, like, oh, I made it out of laning phase against Lucian Milio. This is good.
And how much do you think, having the Azir on the enemy team as a Lucian plays into that? Because I always find when you're playing some of these lower range ADs, it can be really difficult to even get your maximum DPS without just getting Q auto by an Azir and losing half your health late game. When you're supposed to be doing more DPS than the Varus, you have to be autoing.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that makes sense why FBI would be going such a fast rapid fire. You never see that with Lucian normally. It's actually the first time in competitive I've ever seen anyone go second item rapid fire on Lucian. And I think it's exactly why, like what you said, he's actually very scared of getting in range of Nautilus ulti, getting in range of Azir stabbing him even once is going to hit really hard. So he wants to just kind of play like more of a poke Lucian.
Yeah, just try to look to poke out Berserker, Jojopyun. Really, those are the main ones, I guess. But obviously, it is always somewhat risky, especially can't really use your dash because if you like dash in to do the poke, a lot of times you're probably just going to get Nautilus ulted.
Yeah, it's dangerous. I think from C9's perspective, they're probably feeling like, oh, we might be getting out range. So they,
oh, Berserker getting dove. Contractz over the wall with a follow-up from FBI. Makes it all too easy. Berserker with the flash still down from earlier where he encountered Palafox in the river, had no chance getting away.
Yeah, nice job, good kill there. Had the flash down, as you said, Flowers, able to execute on that pretty easily. And also, with this Lucian build, we also have to remember the Bloodsong is that Sheen proc, right? So he's going to have Rapid Fire hit, he's going to have the Stormrazor hit, potentially even Cycle Sword if he wants to go that, and he's going to have that Sheen proc from the Bloodsong. So if you get shielded up by the Milio, you have the obviously passive damage there.
Vulcan and Blaber going in after the Ksante. Big Dokes in trouble, already nearly killed. He goes all out and wants to bring him back, but he can't do it. Blaber gets the kill.
That was a surprise amount of damage from the Kraken proc at the end. I actually thought he might have gotten out.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be a Ksante moment for sure.
Yeah.
That's kind of the punish on him with his build. He's full MR. He went Kaenic Rookern Rush, and he has Mercury Treads. So he's got 0 armor. I think he actually bought the cloth armor after dying as well, so he has no armor at all.
Well, as C9 are starting up the Dragon, Azael, I just want to tell you, I have so much respect for you for knowing the name of that item, because neither word is a real word.
When you say that, it just sounds like you're speaking a different language.
Yeah,
I don't even know like what you said.
He bought the gobbledygook and then he
I call it the MR thing because I don't know what it's called.
It's like if Ma was just a recharging passive. It is really strong. It is like a 500, I think. Well, it's based on your HPs. Let's see. It's 491 damage magic shield that recharges every 12 seconds if you haven't taken damage. So it is really, really strong. Against anything pokey, and generally, like, I've seen this item have a shockingly high win rate on all kinds of stuff. Even like carries and stuff I've seen it have a shockingly high win rate on.
I mean, it's just so good if you know you have to resist magical burst.
If it's like 4 AP, if you're playing against a Ziggs or something, I've seen ADs build this and stuff.
The amount of value is, I mean, it's Perma Morgana Black Shield without the CC part, but just the damage resistance is crazy.
It's a lot.
In Champions Queue, the pro players call it Galio W item. Because it's like, Galio's W does the recharging shield too. No one's going to do. What was the name again? Say it again.
Kaenic Rookern, I believe.
Yeah,
wow.
Well, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but there's.
Yeah, that's. You're saying it better than either of us can, because we don't know what the name is.
Dun, 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 dun.
Here we go. Blaber driving the Herald straight into the tier 1 turret.
Those
Not
mites,
enough
oh my God.
to kill it off. Yeah, the mites have been doing a lot of work.
Swarm,
Jojo
man.
had him topside for the tier 1 earlier.
Run!
Now they're going to summon up the Sun Disc to make sure that NRG don't have a counterpunch. C9 are up almost 4,000 gold 20 minutes in.
Yeah, when you drive the Herald into the turret, it doesn't actually do more damage on the hit. I've heard a lot of people say that, but it doesn't. But what it does do is it spawns mites. It spawns 5 mites, base, and then every grub that you took, it spawns an extra one. So when you crash in, you've already taken 6. It spawned 11 of those void mites there.
Yeah, that's just bad news for the turret,
Yeah.
man. There's not many ways the
It's the
turret's gonna
swarm,
survive
man.
that.
It's like a zombie movie.
It's pretty cool, though. Like, I was kind of getting bored with Herald over the past couple years.
Yeah.
They just didn't change it forever. Now, I'm really down with these changes. Dhokla versus Fudge down here in the bot side. It is a Sunfire Cape first for Fudge compared to what we saw in the previous game with, like, the Iceborne and the Abyssal Mask, Frozen Heart type of build. But let's see here. Second item completed for Blaber, the Titanic Hydra on Viego. You mentioned it last game, Azael, but this thing has been one of the biggest winners of the item rework.
Yeah.
People are loving it.
I mean, the auto attack reset is just so valuable. Any champion where you want to get those multi-hit procs off, it's really, really strong. The stats are really strong as well. Just allows you to get so much burst out right off the bat. You know, you W in, you Q them. You can obviously go auto, crack. The cracking proc comes out faster because you're doing Titanic into another auto. So it's just a lot of burst.
I mean, a similar thing there for Contractz on the Jarvan having this Sundered Sky combined with the Martial Cadence. That first hit from Jarvan on
so
any
much.
champion is a wallop.
I feel like what's so confusing to me is like the early game didn't go how NRG's bot lane wanted. They just even out of lane, right? But then now you see Berserker bleeding farm, and it's just because Lucian Milio has so much like control over mid. Berserker has to respect the fact that he can be dashed on now in any single wave that he doesn't have numbers advantage. So that's making him bleed farm 30 CS over the last like 10 minutes, and it just kind of happened invisibly off screen.
Vulcan going in after FBI with a TP ready to reinforce. NRG cuts bait and runs. They know there's no way to save their AD carry. And C9 looks to be heading over to the Baron pit.
Yeah, that is actually so bad. As there you go, first caster curse. Congratulations.
Yeah, well done.
Dude, come on. Guys, I called this already, man. Playing Lucian mid-game is so impossible not to die, man. Your team is like screeching at you like, come on, dash in, let's get some
Oh, Jojo just dashed in. He's on a killing spree here with the Azir. The Nashor's Tooth Lichbane build giving him so much burst when he goes in on these guys. Palafox didn't stand a chance. Now Dhokla just trying to see if there's anything left to do, but they force him back so easily. Blaber and Fudge still on top of the Baron. Remember that Contractz is around. That is what C9 is trying to prevent. They do not want to give this away with a steal. Dhokla brought back. Blaber going on a killing spree. And now Contractz cannot get close enough. They bring Blaber back in the pit. Contractz goes in, but he's shuffled right back out. Contractz really wanted to go in there, but C9 does their due diligence. They strike him down and they take the Baron.
Man, I respect it. They are down 7K. Like, you can't just give up the Baron from that spot. I think it's probably lights out for NRG. So he risks it all, tries to go in. The reason he didn't smite, it was still at 2K. Wouldn't have done anything.
Yeah. It's like, what are you going to do there? With the Baron take, I think a lot of people are believing that C9 is looking like they're in a solid spot to win here. So if you're in Twitch chat right now, you can actually vote for who you want interviewed if C9 can close this one out.
What's your vote, DoubleLift?
We're going to listen.
Cast the first vote.
Oh man, and whatever I say, it's not going to happen. So no, I'm just kidding. I mean, C9 should win this. It's so easy. At this point, it's just as simple as clicking Nautilus ulti on somebody, and they don't even have to die. That person doesn't have to die. That person just has to get chunked to like 1 HP, and then the fight is completely won. So
who do you want them to interview after the game? We're taking polls for that now. The fans are in control.
Yeah, which C9 player would you want to hear an interview from the most?
that's a great question. I feel like this game, no one stands out as like the guy for C9 right now to me. They just played better as a team, and man, I want them to interview Contractz. I feel like he played the best out of all 10 players in this game.
Which Cloud9 player would you like to interview? Well, I would say Contractz.
Technically, Contractz was on C9. No,
It's like you can go through door A or door B and double to jump through the wall.
Yeah, exactly. I don't play by the rules, guys. No, I maybe Jojo.
trendsetter.
I always like hearing from Jojo.
I mean, hey,
He's a funny guy.
You know what that just reminded me of is the I'm a Gamer commercial.
Oh,
You remember that?
oh, that piece of history needs to be canned.
That's a classic. That needs to come back.
I am a gamer.
Yeah, you are a gamer. Finally getting back into the game.
let's go! go!
I see us on pause. Hopefully this means it's going to be live for you guys. So we're back to it, 24 minutes in.
All right, let's do it. NRG having to hold the line here as the tier 3 turret is pressured by a C9 with a nearly 9,000 gold advantage. Mid lane inhibitor already down. C9 having the Baron ready to go. Let's see if they can really just break through this base all the way right now. Palafox does still have the ulti available. FBI, there's that damage from the Azir you guys were talking about. A couple of soldier autos, and he's forced down to half HP. The Culling comes out, but Vulcan with the engage immediately with a dredge line. Fudge and Jojo trying to back away as Vulcan may be killed here. Energy not with enough damage so far. A massive Shurima shuffle coming out, keeping it back. It's a 1 for 1, a 1 for 2. It's about to be more, and C9 have made their way into the base. They've only lost Vulcan, and the front line is decimated on the side of NRG. Contractz and Dhokla out of the picture, but C9 had to spend enough of their health to get it done that the game won't end just yet.
Going to be going over to the dragon. Looks like they're just going to reset, gate back out, try to grab this dragon here. Very likely. Blaber taking away some of the camps, and it's going to be a third dragon here for C9. So the game doesn't end, but potentially game-ending damage here as they got both the inhibitors.
Man, FBI has been getting rocked by this Nautilus. I feel bad for him. It's not easy to play.
What do you think he's, if anything, he's doing wrong then? Like, is there a different way you would like to see him play in this situation?
No, I mean, that's the thing about playing Lucian, Nami, or Milio. Like, your team, it's not that your team is saying it, but your job is to, like, get in there, right? Because you have 500 range, otherwise, if you're not getting in there, you do nothing. So, it's so easy to have something like that happen. I think, basically, the margin for error on Lucian Nami, Lucian Milio is essentially nothing.
Yeah,
it's no margin for error.
It's tough. I mean, the engage was actually really good. The wall from Palafox was really nice, but they couldn't get enough people into the backline to finish off Jojo, and that seemed like the problem, right? They committed a lot to try to get back there and kill him off. Couldn't make it happen. Blaber with the face check.
Yep, not going to get caught there. Contractz
So
and
clean.
Palafox wanted it, but not close enough.
And now just pushing in multiple waves here. You can see supers, double supers stacking up in bot. Supers coming out through mid. Blaber's just going to keep pushing in waves mid, and the other 4 C9 are going up top. Fudge threatens a wraparound on that tier 2 top lane. So NRG just going to have to defend in the base, but in about 20 seconds is when it's going to get super hard, because 2 super minions are going to come through bot, 1 is coming through mid, and those are going to be on the Nexus towers. So NRG basically has to engage. C9 just has to stand here and wait for them to go back, and then they can step up.
Fortunately for NRG, the top lane wave is not synced up with these in mid and bottom, so they can rotate everybody over to deal with these waves crashing into the Nexus turrets, keeping both of those still standing, at least for the time being. But that first one took a beating, and Jojo is now trying to move up and do the same thing to the tier 3 here in top lane with Dhokla already down to 1/3 HP on Ksante. He cannot go forward any further. Palafox trying to clear things out on the top side. Jojo with a very defensive flash there. May have just been a misclick, throws up the thumbs up.
I don't even think he was dodging to these W with that flash.
No,
it was definitely a misclick.
Contractz going in, he wants Berserker. Berserker flashes away and the Jarvan is already down. This should be the end right here. Fudge keeping the rest of energy zoned out. Contractz just looking for any possible angle. Every play is like a 1% chance of success at this point. And now with a 5v4 with another minion wave ready to crash into the top side tier 3. C9's gonna keep the aggro on. Vulcan and Fudge looking to lead the charge as Blaber jumps forward with a Spectral Maul. Won't find a target, but it does not matter. It's like you said, DoubleLift, you don't even have to kill these guys. You can just force them back. NRG trying to see if they can wait the last 10 seconds for Contractz, and it looks like C9 is not gonna go for the end just yet.
Wow, that's kind of surprising, honestly. I thought they were just going to take it to the Nexus turrets. I mean, when you have the grubs, enemy structures are made out of paper. Oh, dope. Ooh. Okay, that was a game of chicken. I thought Dhokla was just going to send it right there.
Yeah, he doesn't really do a lot of damage, unfortunately. I don't feel like at this point in the game. That is a very
1% chance of success is honestly pretty generous right now.
Yeah, seriously. Well, it's going to be tough. We'll see if NRG can find any sort of a play to happen. But, I mean, you're triple inhibbed, 2 super spawning, every single wave, in every single lane. C9, if they want, could probably just walk it down mid with all the supers, but it looks like they're going to head over to Baron. NRG's probably going to contest, and that's probably going to be the end of the game. But we'll see if they can make something spectacular happen.
I would love to see, with the new changes to Baron, he has like all these different abilities. I'm pretty sure no pro player actually knows like what abilities are on what Baron. I definitely don't know. I would love to see like a wombo. Oh, okay.
Yeah, horn has a lightning because it's a yellow horn and it looks like a lightning bolt. That's how I remember it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want to see a wombo combo with the new Baron abilities. Oh, Contractz.
Oh! Contractz just got wombo comboed by C9 as he tries to engage. Fudge here on the front line, but he's tanky enough to not be traded in response. Baron down to 5,000 HP. The enemy jungler's already down. There should be no chance of a steal. Blaber with a secure as Palafox drives through on the Weaver's wall. He's,
oh my god, he's out!
Palafox with a cheeky exit, but the rest of NRG now under pressure as Jojo goes golden and Dhokla goes down. FBI survives with 100 HP as Palafox shuts down the Emperor, but he'll be traded back. Meanwhile, Fudge has decided the game has gone on long enough. The UDyr TP's in on top of the Nexus turrets as another kill comes through. Palafox is out. Only FBI left standing. 14-5, 30 minutes in. C9 takes the dub.
Honestly, sub 30-minute game against NRG, the defending champions, pretty damn good way to kick things off. Felt long, but mostly just because of the pause.
Yeah.
But C9 really in control.
Yeah, I was going to make a joke that it took him a while to close out there. 20 minutes of stalling, but no, that was actually crazy fast. Now that you mentioned it, 29 minutes is very impressive.
Well done for C9. The rumors appear to have been true. These guys look like the team to inspire fear in the hearts of all their opponents in this split if they keep playing like that.
The expectations are
They
going to be
look
super
bored.
high for him.
Like, I'm looking at Berserker's face and he's like, man, get